finally, you know, I'll never forget it. It was we were at Monday Night Raw, and I went up to him, you know, and at that time it was Dwayne. And I said, you know, Dwayne, I said, there's just something that's with me, and I want to share this with you. And he goes, what? I said, why don't you just try to go out there and refer to yourself as in the third person? And he goes, what do you mean? I said, everything you say, it's The Rock says this, The Rock says that, The Rock said, The Rock, The Rock, The Rock, The Rock. And he just looked at me, he goes, okay, I'll try it. And it was, I mean, he literally was going out in half an hour.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's a Steve Austin moment. He went out there and started referring to himself as The Rock, and I'm sitting in the back and I'm saying...
Yep, I remember seeing the same thing and thinking the same thing.
But again, let's make one thing perfectly clear, okay? It was all him.
Yeah.
I mean, I could have said those words to 50 other guys.
Yeah.
It was all him. And let me tell you the one thing about The Rock where I've said this and I'll say it again. I don't think there's going to be another star in the history of this business that is bigger than The Rock. And the reason being, in my opinion, the thing that was so much different about him, you know, people have charisma, people have good looks, people have all these things.
Yeah.
But the thing that was different about him was he was so much smarter than everybody else. He had such an intelligence level, nobody could touch him. I mean, the conversations I used to have with him and what was going through his mind, he was just so much smarter than everybody else. And that's why I believe you're never going to find another individual that has just all those gifts and is able to take all these gifts and just, you know, go out and do what he does. And it's just another scenario like Austin, man. All the credit goes to him because he was smart enough to be able to pull it off.
Ed, was there a downside to working with Rock? Did he get a big head? Was he ever full of himself? Did he ever go, I am smarter than everyone else, and kind of take on an air of superiority around people?
Actually, no, and it's without hesitation. I'd say that Rock is, I mean, because I believe, because of that intelligence, that fierce intelligence that he had, and he would analyze everything, but not in like the way that we talked about with Steve. He would analyze everything and try and see how to improve it. What can I add to it, as opposed to what
was very
won't work.
But the difference between the two, and again, a lot of it had to do with how they got there. The difference between the two was the confidence. Rock knew he was better than everybody else. He didn't care about politics. He knew he
hadn't
was
been
better
let
than
go from
everybody else.
WCW.
That's right.
He had, you know, he hadn't been. But he did have a lame gimmick slapped on him.
He went through
from
it
day one. But I mean, Rock also.
Supremely confident.
He was very confident, but not arrogant. Not cocky. Just confident, sure of himself. And I mean, he was always so easy to work with. He was such a pleasure to work with because it was literally working together and working, you know, with him to get the best we could out of him.
Is it safe to say you looked forward to working with Rock more than Austin just because it was more of a...
It was less of a tug of war.
Okay.
With Austin, it was always ultimately, at the end of the day, it was all for the best, you know, in the best interest of the product. And Austin, like Vince said, polite, yet he could be very stubborn, and it was like a tug of war. But Rock,
the frustration with Steve was, Steve, we're not trying to hurt you. We're on your team. We want to get this to the next level, and that was the frustration. But you know, again, to me, the amazing thing with Rock was the whole time, you know, from Rocky Maivia at Madison Square Garden to the last day I left. It was the same guy, man. It was the same guy.
And he was respectful with everybody from top to bottom.
And was Austin respectful of the little guy behind the scenes?
Yeah, I mean, he very much was. But I mean, when you think of a guy at the level, I mean, because even, especially now, at this point, with The Rock's career blowing up in Hollywood and all that, he's gone even further than Steve did. But there was not even the slightest inkling of that.
How did Steve and Rock get along? Was there professional jealousy? Was there respect? Did they hit it off personally? Did they keep their distance? What was going on between them? Because Austin was first, and then Rock comes along, and Austin's no longer Hulk Hogan and then everybody else. Now it's Austin and Rock and everybody else. How did that work?
I think, and again, this is just my opinion, I think there might have been a touch of jealousy on Austin's part, but it never affected his professionalism at all. Never. I'm not doing the job. Never.
Because
I'm not. Never.
Austin